Okay, hey everyone, and welcome back to the Ring of Fire 2.0. I'm Thomas Firehart, and I'm pretty much just going to go straight into it, but I will say this much. I find it funny that I had already seen, I've seen the pay-per-view before and after the Royal Rumble 2005, but I've never seen, until getting the network, the Royal Rumble 2005, so it seems really odd in retrospect, but oh well. Anyway, going straight into this, the opening match is Edge versus Shawn Michaels, which, my lord, that got just over 18 and a half minutes. It really doesn't feel that long. I mean, it feels like it went for 15, I guess, so it did feel long-ish, but still. Well, that's interesting. The only match that went under 10 minutes was the pre-show match on Heat, so that's kind of weird. Anyway, so yeah, Edge versus Shawn Michaels. It was a pretty good match. Honestly, it could have been better between the two, but for what it was pretty good. Of course, Edge's spear still looks shit. Even when he hits it to someone on the outside, it seems more impactful just because they hit the floor, not because of his spear actually necessarily being more damaging. Though I find it kind of weird that he hit the spear twice and still had to end up winning with a pretty dodgy looking roll up, in the sense that he was that close to the ropes when he did that you figure the ref would have just, called it, and they would have had to like do the spot over, which, it's happened before, so I don't see why it couldn't have been done in this case. Because, like, if anything, yeah, like the match is good, but then the finish is kind of silly in the way that they pull it off, and that it just looks like the referee should notice that he's right on the ropes. Not necessarily that he's grabbing the ropes, but that just Shawn Michaels is that close to the ropes when that pinfall happens that it's like, well, wait a minute. Shouldn't he be like being like, whoa, hey, get back. You're way too fucking close to the ropes. That doesn't count. But anyway, yeah, Edge wins in a match that was basically used to sort of help elevate him towards the main event scene. Yeah, I honestly would have preferred a different ending, or at least yeah, bugger. Honestly, I would have preferred a different ending. That's all. It was a good match, but I would have preferred a different ending. Or at least, the same ending, but like in the middle of the ring or something. And he's just, I don't know, grabbing his tights or whatever instead, rather than it being so close to the ropes that it, like, the ref should have really noticed, and it just kind of, it just fucks up your suspension of disbelief. At least it did for mine. Anyway, next up was The Undertaker versus Heidenreich. Honestly, not much to say about this. I do like the spot where Undertaker hits Heidenreich with his signature apron leg drop, and Heidenreich is sort of got the casket lid over him. That was pretty cool. The Snitsky involvement and the Kane thing, it's like, that's the payoff, really? Snitsky and Heidenreich have technically been doing these promos together on and off for months. Because I'm pretty sure they started at like Survivor Series or something like that. or maybe earlier, but they had been doing these promos with each other for a while. Don't think there was really all that many, but still, that was the payoff. I honestly was expecting them to become a tag team. Like, one of them would switch brands and they'd become a tag team. Because that would have been honestly pretty interesting in the fact that they would have been two psychopathic, gay, like, massive guys. Because let's face it, half of those promos look like they were about to have the roughest sex imaginable with each other. And I guess they kind of did that to, like, make people uneasy, but to me it was just sort of funny. Especially in retrospect, but like, yeah, it's just really silly. But honestly would have been all about that tag team, so, Undertaker wins, of course. Honestly, the Heidenreich feud with Taker was pretty shit, and I think that's why they learned after this that you probably, unless the guy is actually a good wrestler, which I liked Heidenreich, but he's blatantly not a good wrestler. Yeah, this is why you don't have someone debut, or at least bring someone back up after them sort of showing up and then going away again. This is why you don't have them go up against the Undertaker unless they're at least a good powerhouse. Because if they're a good powerhouse, then Undertaker can just fly around like a little guy, and it can be sort of a Kevin Nash Undertaker scenario. Not Undertaker has to flat out carry Heidenreich, and Heidenreich sort of botches certain things. Like, I even think he sort of screwed up the choke slam so it didn't look all that powerful. But anyway, that was the end of their feud from what I can remember. Okay, next was JBL versus Big Show versus Kurt Angle for the WWE title. Pretty good triple threat match. I mean, not the best I've ever seen. But, I wasn't bored. I don't remember ever thinking, oh god, when's this going to end? So there's that at least. The crash through the security wall was honestly probably one of the weaker ones I've seen. But, well. Yeah, JBL retains because JBL's cabinet and Angle's proteges are basically distracting and trying to fight off Big Show. And Orlando Jordan throws JBL back in, and he lariats Kurt Angle and wins. And this would probably be longer if I talked about the segments, but aside from the ones involving Eddie Guerrero and Ric Flair, they're not really worth talking about. So yeah, Triple H versus Orton for the World Heavyweight title was next, and by the look on Triple H's face at the end of this match, I'd say Orton was legitimately knocked around. Because it was kind of odd, because he really did seem like he was out on his feet after Triple H sort of blocked a DDT in a very common way, and Orton just hit the friggin' mat as hard as he possibly could, really. And, that from then on, it was pretty much just sort of not much of anything really happening, and then Triple H just, like, I think he was supposed to hit him with the sledgehammer, but maybe he just realized, even out of character, but also in character, and played it off as in character, I guess. That's like, yeah, that seems a bit pointless, so he just chucks it out and then just pedigrees him and wins. And look on his face afterwards is like, well, that was a shit finish. And like, the match itself isn't too bad, but like, nothing really memorable about this match aside from the fact that Randy Orton essentially is out on his feet for like the last 5 or 10 minutes. But yeah, like, it's not a terrible match by any means, but as I said, it's not memorable, really. And the sixth and final match, God, this is probably going to be a short video. The Royal Rumble match, the main event, which went under an hour. That's interesting. Batista won, of course. Notable moments, really, for me, were the opening bit where, well, at least after Daniel Puder comes out and basically gets beaten up by Benoit, Guerrero, and then Hardcore Holly when he comes out. And then Hardcore gets eliminated, and then Hurricane gets eliminated after getting a bit of offense in, at least. Which is honestly better than he got the year before, because at the 2004 Rumble, he basically went straight for friggin'... Oh, well, he hit a cross body at least, but then he, like, pretty much immediately gets eliminated. Well, a few seconds later gets thrown out by Matt Morgan, but now, well. Let's see, what are other notable moments that I can think of? Oh yeah, the Charlie Haas Shelton Benjamin team up. I love how they always make it seem like someone is specifically in the Rumble to do a very specific thing, and then once they're done, they get eliminated. Because Booker T knocks a few people around, gets some good offense in, does a spinneroonie, and then gets pretty much almost immediately eliminated. And Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, they briefly team up to do their old tag. Was it a finisher? I'm pretty sure that's what they labeled it. I forget. I honestly don't remember if it was actually supposed to be a finisher or not. But yeah, they do that, and then pretty much immediately after that, Benjamin gets eliminated. Charlie Haas lost a few minutes more than Benjamin did, but still. Well, okay, yeah, he lasted. Well, he didn't last as long as Benjamin, but he wasn't out for as long as Benjamin either, so. Scotty Too Hottie didn't even make it to the ring because they had to do that twice in 2 years. Because, at the 2004 Rumble, Spike Dudley gets chokeslammed on the friggin' entrance ramp, so he doesn't get to. So then a cruiserweight has the same thing happen to him the next year, so he doesn't get to enter either. Which I still think it would have been funny. To this day, I think it would have been funny if Scotty Too Hottie had just stuck around near the, I guess, what wrestlers call the gorilla position, and had just run out as soon as it looked like both Cena and Batista were going over. If I was Scotty Too Hottie, I would have ran down to that ring so quick and hopped in the ring and gone, I win. Because he technically was never eliminated. So it would have been hilarious if he'd come out and claimed the victory because he'd never been eliminated, and the only two guys technically left botched, like botched, and somehow by some miracle happened to land down the outside at the same time. Because I find that so hilarious that apparently was not planned to happen. They just miraculously, like, Batista just went to powerbomb Cena, and Cena's weight just kind of buckled him, and they just both went over. And somehow miraculously managed to land, and then McMahon comes out and tears both his quads. Which I was wondering what the fuck happened there. I thought he broke his leg or something, but he tore both his quads. Okay. uh, um, God, what else was there? Um, oh yeah, the Paul London elimination. That was pretty sweet. Snitsky clotheslines him and he does a fucking does a goddamn shooting star press off the apron as a bump, and it's like, holy shit. That would fucking hurt to land. Because he landed flat, like, on his chest on the friggin' floor. And as they keep saying, just because there are mats there, it's not much protection. It's just so they don't really, like, crack their skull open, really. But it would still hurt like fuck. And, oh yeah, that's another thing. Coach was in the match for 13 minutes. That was surprising because I think that might be the longest an announcer, or like a commentator, I should say, has lasted in the Rumble. Like, as far as Lawler and Cole and all them go, I guess I specifically mean after they were full time. Well, in Lawler's case and JBL's case, after they were officially retired in ring and were pretty much relegated exclusively to commentary. Out of all those kinds of people that have been in the Rumble match, I'm pretty sure Coach holds the record for the longest time a commentator has lasted in a Royal Rumble. I could be wrong. I mean, if you want to count when Lawler did it in the 90s, then I guess he's probably lasted longer than 13 minutes, but I, again, could be wrong. I have no fucking clue. But anyway. So Batista eventually wins because they restart the final two. Then just do a quick little off-the-cuff scuffle, and then Batista throws Cena out. And they both go on to WrestleMania anyway, because that's usually how that works. Granted, that's not how the 2004 one worked, but still. So overall, this pay-per-view, not as bad as New Year's Revolution, the first one, because that pay-per-view was god-awful, honestly. That one was marred with injury and just blehness. Like, it was complete meh. And then this pay-per-view, not like the greatest pay-per-view ever, not really all that great, but it has some memorable moments, and I don't regret watching it. Like, I don't feel like I wasted my time watching it. Hell, I had to watch it again. Just because it had been so long since I fucking watched it the first time. Really sorry to those that actually follow my stuff that it took this long to actually friggin' do this. But yeah, thank God I finally fucking got around to it. And you know, the next one, unless people specifically want me to do it, the next one will not be No Way Out 2005. Just as a reminder, because I have said that I will not fucking do it. I will not. Pretty much because I've seen that fucking pay-per-view, and really, thinking back on it, there's nothing really worth talking about. There's, I mean, yeah, there's the barbed wire steel cage match, but you know what? Since I've already given my thoughts on that, and I think this has gone pretty quickly because there was only 6 matches, I will give a very, very brief thoughts on No Way Out 2005. Gonna have to find the fucking results. Granted, I guess I could just grab the DVD, but I'd have to look for it. Because yes, I do own the 2005 and 2003 and 2002 and 2006 Rumbles. Sorry, not Rumbles. No Way Outs on pay on DVD. Okay, so Eddie and Mysterio versus the Bashams. That was pretty good from what I can recall. Booker defeated Heidenreich via DQ for whatever reason. Okay, don't care. Cruiserweight Open was good, but it pissed me off that Funaki as the champion was the first out and was out fairly quick, because that's bullshit, guys. They only got 9, like almost 10 minutes. They should have got like 15. Undertaker versus Luther Reigns. Really don't give a fuck, and I'm pretty sure since Luther Reigns was in it, it was most likely a shitty match, from what I can recall. Cinder versus Angle. Good in the sense that, from what I can recall, and good in the sense that Cena actually remembered to sell a knee or leg or whatever it was injury, unlike some of the times where he just sort of gets in the zone and just completely forgets that he's supposed to be selling an injury. The main event, JBL versus Big Show in a barbed wire steel cage for the WWE title. A good brawl, I guess, but I've never really been too fond of the match itself, aside from the choke slam through the ring and JBL crawling out underneath to win, which I think was a very interesting way, and a way I have never seen and never have seen since a cage match being won that way. Which I kind of like in the sense that WWE hasn't repeated it, but I would honestly be fine with them repeating it as long as they didn't do it too often. Because that would honestly be pretty cool. Or even just them being slammed through the ring, counting as them winning via escape because they're no longer in the cage. It's a bit kind of cheating, I guess, because it has to be like the outside of the ring area. So I guess that's why just being slammed through it didn't count. But yeah, there you go. Those were my very, very quick thoughts on No Way Out 2005 as an added bonus to what I've already said. So that about does it for that. I will be back next time with WrestleMania 21, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to try and do as many videos as I can this week, because 2 days after my birthday, my subscription runs out. Well, okay, it'll actually be more like 3, I think, because of the time difference, because I think it counts as American time when the network runs out. And I will not have any money to put towards it, I'm pretty sure, until my next pay goes through, which is like, well, I'll put it this way. Generally, before I have to renew it. So, yeah, I've already cancelled the thing anyway, so luckily the price has gone down for the network, but still, I won't be able to afford it until my next pay. So I'll hope to get it back before Survivor Series so I can, legally stream it. Because I don't really like having to illegally stream it. It's just, I'm piss poor. So, worst case scenario, that's the next time you'll see me. I might be doing a review of The Last of Us Remastered because I finished it like 2 days ago now, I think, technically, or like a day and a bit ago. Well, okay, it's Monday. I finished it on Saturday, so there you go. Was it Saturday or was it? Yeah, it was Saturday. Was it Friday? God, I don't know. I finished it anyway. So just to cut this rambling short, that's it. So yeah, I'll see you next time with WrestleMania 21. Hopefully I can get a few more done before this runs out. But yeah, I'm Thomas Fireheart, and I will see you next time.